Hey guys, welcome back to Fandom Sage Powers, where we discuss heroes, villains, and the Dawn. We have finally reached our Wolverine series, starting with issue number 1, and we're digging in right now. James, Logan, Patch, Weapon X, Wolverine, Canada, Madripoor, New York, Japan, Krakoa. Names scramble. Time gets slippery. My brain feels bruised black. I don't know when, where, or even who I am. But I do know this. I am an expert on pain. I've been beaten, poisoned, burned, bombed, slashed, stabbed, shot, electrocuted, drowned. Been knifed through with hot veins of metal and had my bones turned inside out. I've been nuked, steamrolled, crucified, ripped in half, chewed up and spit out. My body is one big wound. A million scars I carry around inside me. But nothing compares, not even close, to the hurt I feel now, knowing my friends, my family, are dead at my hands. I couldn't have killed them, but I did. They tried to stop me, but they couldn't. Even Jeannie. But someone survived. A single set of footprints leads off into the snow. Maybe another friend running away from me. Maybe an enemy doing the same. Either way, I couldn't be more lost. So I got no choice but to follow. Mutants from around the world are flocking to the island nation of Krakoa for safety, security, and to be part of the first mutant society. Even Wolverine. Yet, in spite of the wealth and opportunity ahead, Wolverine remains poised for the worst. Where are you? Mr. Logan? Come out, wherever you are. You mean you still didn't find him? He smells pretty bad, so maybe we can find him by the bad smells. We've been hiding and seeking him forever. I give up already. What if I gave you a hint? Yeah. Do it, Miss Jean. He hides too hard. You'll have to forgive Logan. He does everything too hard. Don't do it, Jeannie. Don't you dare. I had the perfect spot. Don't say swears. I knew I smelled him back there. We found you. No way they would have found me. Exactly. And they're not the only ones looking for you. You never have to look too hard to find me, Jeannie. I'm always here for you. I'm not talking about me. I'm sensing something down at Hellfire Bay that you might say is the equivalent of a deep sigh and a foot impatiently tapping. You do know I've got to shove off soon. Another half hour and I was going to dump all your hooch in the bay. Sorry. There was a problem in Marrakesh. The professor asked me to... First of all, since when do you say sorry? And second, Jean already told me why you're late. You were playing hide and go seek with a bunch of nose pickers? Seriously? Has Wolverine gone soft? We weren't playing. I was teaching them wilderness survival techniques. I'm just messing with you. I think it's sweet. But because you're late, I'm taxing you. You owe me a few minutes of BS. And a few pours of smuggled whiskey. I'm trying to think of a suitable Wolverine toast. How about death to the enemy? Or, ready or not, here I come? Or, ollie ollie oxen free? Yeah. I know you won't say it because I know you're not big on feelings, so I'll do it for you. You seem, I don't know, happy. You're you, but a better you. Except when it comes to your taste in booze. I could smuggle you the finest single malt, but you insist on drinking cheap piss. Watch. Learn this while bartending. I can't stand the taste, so this helps me skip to the fun part. Look at me, already buzzy and honest. I'm happy you're happy, Logan. Krakoa is home. You're surrounded by people you love, even if you don't ever use that word. And you've got a true sense of purpose in keeping them safe. Am I right? I'm right. You're not wrong. But enough of this heart-to-heart crap. You've got to shove off soon. And you obviously brought me down here for a reason. So what's the trouble, kitty? You already know Hellfire is responsible for the medicines human countries get from us. We control the key chain from production to delivery. But we're somehow losing product. It started off as a few pounds here or there, then a quarter shipment, then, on one occasion, a full load. We've got labs on Mars and in the Savage Land, and everything gets delivered the old-fashioned way, by ship. Sometimes mind petals go missing. Sometimes antibody petals go missing. I don't know who's responsible or what they're doing with our product, but it can't be good. You know what's funny about this? Not funny haha, but funny curious. You sure you're CIA? Don't you spooks have a dress code, Agent Bannister? I think better when I'm comfortable. And what I'm thinking is, there's something funny going on here. I got called in here because of suspected cartel-on-cartel violence. But these poor bastards, they killed themselves. Screwdriver to the brain, glass pipette to the eye, broken beaker to the throat. All self-inflicted. And what the hell are they baking? It's not heroin, not coke, not fentanyl. Nah, man, this is something new. I mean, just take a whiff. Normally, a drug lab makes me feel like I'm sucking on the tailpipe of a bus burning hot garbage for fuel. But this place? It smells like gardens and grandmas. Floral. It's like pollen. There have always been those humans who recognize mutants as higher beings, touched with divinity. But since the declaration of sovereignty, their numbers have grown dramatically, as if the new dawn broke with an ethereal light. At this time, the Order of X has no definitive leader, or practice, or text, or belief system. No roof over its church, so to speak. But there are commonalities evolving among the various branches and thousands of parishioners worldwide. They regularly gather around Krakoan gates, prostrating their bodies, praying and pleading. Should a mutant appear, some parishioners will collapse in seizure and speak in tongues. Others will rush the mutant, their hands hungry for a touch, as if some essence might carry over to them. There have been reports of men and women disrobing and offering themselves naked to the mutants. Their bodies are altars upon which they might produce the ultimate form of worship, a child that carries the X gene. Some branches wear an X around their necks like a crucifix or a Star of David, but scarification and branding seem to be the standard for adornment. X's are sometimes carved over the eyes or across the chest or face, but the mouth is the most frequent site for the etching. Though their overall theology appears to be based on devotion and humility, they are extremists who appear to believe that the sacrifice and consumption of Homo Superior is the path to a higher plane. So, just to get this straight, there's no way you can track the Petals. They're not tied to the central intelligence of Krakoa? Krakoa isn't a god, it's a mutant. Are you aware of the 30,000 dead skin cells you shed in a single day? That's basically the same thing you're asking about the Petals. Came to you for a reason, Sage. I'm good at punching and stabbing things, and you're good at figuring out who deserves to get punched and stabbed. Where are these stolen shipments ending up? I don't know, not for sure, but here's a tricky guess. Air quality content is monitored daily by government, military, news, and science organizations. They're tracking pollutants, spores, and pollen. I'll quantify their data, but limit the pools as follows. Who is currently experiencing winter? And who has refused to sign the treaty? Krakoan flowers produce a dramatically high volume of pollen. If the regional pollen count is high, given the season, given the country's political status, we might have a hit. Looks like Russia, just outside Moscow. Duh. Put out the call to X-Force. I want a strike team on the ground as soon as possible. Every gate we've got in Russia surrounded by a tank brigade. We'll need gateway for transport. Be careful, Logan. Whatever or whoever it is we're dealing with, they're not afraid, and they're pulling this off undetected. That might mean it's an inside job. I don't know. But keep your claws popped. And your friends close. Jeff? Sir? Yeah. Did you hear me? Sure I did, man. But, say it again anyway. We've run some tests in the lab and we've talked to some sources on the street. The Petals, street name, Pollen, apparently give you an exalted feeling, like your brain is twice as smart and your body is twice as strong. That sounds kinda nice. Could use a good snort of pollen about now. I assume that is a joke, sir? Meredith Millie, you're irony-proof. But I love you all the same. Because you do things like coming all the way out here to deliver this case file to a bum like me. About that, next time, maybe you could sign in and download it from... I hate staring at screens, and I keep forgetting my passcode. Paper's better, man. Mr. Bannister, she's awake now. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Take care, Jeff. Check in when you're able to. Hi, Daddy. Hey there, Pumpkin. Did you get your work done? Huh? Oh, yeah. Kind of. Or, not really. What bad guys are you trying to stop this time? Well, you know how you're on the waiting list for those special drugs? The antibody petals? The ones that will make me better? Yeah. Yup. Well, some people are stealing them and using them for other stuff. Bad stuff. And that's making your daddy really mad. There are 4 groups of blood, A, B, AB, and O, and each of these can either be Rhd positive or Rhd negative, making for a total of 8 types. But further classification is based on antibodies and antigens, such as carbohydrates and proteins, making for a known total of 36 systems and 346 antigens. And then the math is further complicated by Wolverine. Not all blood is alike, but that is especially true of what runs beneath his skin. It is not merely resistant, but altogether impervious to infection, malignancy, autoimmune disorders. It is infinitely compatible with all other blood families and has been shown to have a brief curative effect when transfused. In this way, it bears some resemblance to blood infected, or cursed some might say, by the bite of a vampire. This is his closest cousin, with few exceptions. His body is not just a factory for his blood, it is the vault, and once it leaves him, its powers are soon suppressed, and its compatibility deteriorates. Whereas a vampire's blood is malignant, virulent. His blood does not deteriorate when exposed to ultraviolet light. You could say their blood belongs to the same group, but a different type. One positive, the other negative. Instead of A or B or AB or O, one might call it E, the endless. When gods walk among us, you can hide from them, or you can follow them. If you follow them, then you become the shadow of a god yourself. It is no mistake that X is a tilted representation of the cross, a symbol of a higher power. Because the mutants represent eternal life, and... So much for stealth recon. Sometimes Sage is too damn precise in her calculations. Telepathic Citrep would be much appreciated. They worship us? I need another minute. I'm getting mixed messages. But right now, it's a miracle. We are in the presence of greatness. Now this is a religion I can get behind. The gods themselves have been delivered to our house of worship. Do you know what this means? It is time for communion. First, we taste of the krakoan host. Let the pollen bloom inside you. Kid, don't! Settle down, they love me, as they should. You can touch me, I permit you. And now that we have tasted the flesh of the flower, oh no, it is time to drink the blood of the vine. Permission revoked. Hands off, you empty-headed zealots. This isn't the enemy we're looking for. But we've got no choice except to fight. They believe if they consume enough pollen, then krakoa will bind with their DNA and make them something other, something more. Not quite human and not quite mutant. A hybrid life form. A new species. They think the same is true of our blood. Maim them. Don't murder them. Unless they don't give you a choice. I prefer to be your god. But I'm happy to be your devil. Taste the sacrament of the X. Hate to break it to you, but you're all crazy. The hell? Quentin? It's not like they don't deserve it. Quentin! We need to question these people. We need to know it's not Kid Omega that's killing them. It's the pollen. The guns won't do you much good, so don't bother, really. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dead already. I'm just here to ask some friendly questions. As long as you answer them, I won't kill you. Not today, anyway. Look familiar? Ran a mutant-worshipping cult known as the Order of X. It is time for this conversation to be over. You got psionic dampeners on this place. But that hasn't stopped me from figuring out you sold him and his loonies some bad dope with pollen cut into it. Talk while you still got a throat. Where'd you get the flowers? At first, from her. Her who? The pale girl. Keep going. At first, she is the one we are dealing with at the Flower Cartel. She sells us the pollen, but only if we work for her. Takes 80%. Bad deal. So we steal Petals from hospital in Sokovia. Try to guard in our own, yes? This does not make Pale Girl happy. She says we work with her. Or else. Or else what? You see this? I took out my lighter, and I brought the flame to my eye, and cooked it inside its own socket. Because she made me. She is like her own kind of drug. She gets into your head, and makes you do terrible things. This is why we are having the psionic dampeners, to protect ourselves. From her. Pollen isn't everywhere, but it's taken to the wind, so to speak. LA, Rio, Mumbai, Johannesburg. We're tracking the feeds, news, police, social media, the dark web. More people are talking about it than actually using it. But people are dying, man. From the synthetic knockoffs, yeah. But more so from the Flower Cartel taking over. Or taking down any competition. There appears to be a new drug war brewing. And we're to blame. The muties control everything. So why not the black market too? Only one way to find out for sure if it's them. We pose as buyers, set up a meeting, go directly to the Flower Cartel. I've forgotten so much, so many times. My skull's always been a haunted house of locked rooms and broken mirrors and cobwebbed hallways. But here's something I'll never forget, not as long as I live. I've done terrible things. People should stay away from me. I don't have family. I shouldn't have friends. I'm not safe. My brain won't stop seething with questions. What have I done? Why did I come here? It was to find something. It was to meet someone. Her. The pale girl. Ah! It was you! You made me do it! Made you do what? What are you doing here, man? Who the hell are you? I've been wondering the same thing. I am really loving this Wolverine series so far. Great first issue. That cold open, pun intended, was so brutal. Just seeing how much damage Logan took from Domino, Jean, and Kid Omega, yet they were still not able to stop him before he ended up murdering them. Wolverine issue number 1 takes place before Kate Pryde is murdered, so I want to say this is around Marauders issue 4 or 5 probably. You can tell that it's earlier in her story because she hasn't got that red jacket. I love seeing Wolverine with the kids. It's really funny, actually. And he is quite happy. They have actually made it a point to show the youth on the island and a lot of the issues with different characters, like Exodus telling all the kids around the campfire the story. He was kind of telling them some more taboo kind of stuff. We saw Emma taking a group of kids on a tour of the moon. Of course, Maxime and Manon, they seem to be like separate from the rest of the kids, and they end up tagging along with Armor and Glob, of course, going to Nebraska in the pages of New Mutants. So I like the fact that they are highlighting the kids on the island that are just, living their best life, running around. And we get to see how bad actors are using these krakoan flowers to make their own drug, of course, because like the lady on the X desk said, because we can't have nice things. But now I'm starting to wonder what Shaw was really up to. Is there something more nefarious that we're not really seeing? Because of what we've seen from Marauders, it made it seem like he was just jockeying for the Red Throne, but he did get caught doing side deals by Emma early on. Is he still got some other business machinations going on? Because Hominis Verende, he helped set up Kate and the Marauders to get attacked. Well, actually, he set up his own son, then they came to save Shinobi and got attacked by Hominis Verendi. And then they found the Russian dampening armor. Is Shaw colluding with the Russians, Magic War of Hominis Verendi, and now this Flower Cartel? I know he better not be doing all of that. That's a lot if he is, because it seems like it's all kind of connected and tied together, but I'm not really sure how. We'll learn more about the Flower Cartel and this pale girl. So I don't know if she's a mutant. I mean, I'm assuming so. She kind of looks like a ghost, but a ghost wouldn't really need to worry about money, so. But it's really cool design. The name, the Pale Girl, could use a little workshopping, but other than that, I think it's kind of a cool character. As much as I hate to admit it, Wolverine is still one of the most interesting and complex and compelling characters in the X-Men. His physiology and the way he can survive pretty much anything is quite impressive. So the scientific and medical implications that this brings into play, especially now that they're in a scientifically advanced kind of society with Krakoa, are pretty vast. I'm wondering how this blood work and this theme of blood and transformation and the consuming of Homo Superior will play out over the series. If you like this episode, give me that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and join the crew, and I'll catch you in the next issue.